The house of one of the accused seen in the horrifying viral video of women being paraded naked in Manipur was on Thursday burned down by a mob. 4 people have been arrested in the incident, a video of which went viral on social media on Wednesday. The prime accused, Huirem Hirodas Mehte, was arrested on Thursday along with another alleged accused, Manithoy of Nongpok Samai village in Thubal district. 2 more accused were arrested later. The house of the main accused was burned down by an irate mob at Yairipok village of Thubal district in Manipur in the afternoon on Thursday. The police said they are conducting search operations to nab the others involved in the crime. The incident took place on May 4, 2023, but came to light only on Wednesday after the video went viral on social media. Manipur Chief Minister N. Biren Singh condemned the incident and said that the state government would not remain silent on this heinous crime. He said that the government would make efforts to get the culprits with maximum punishment like capital punishment. He also appealed to the public not to cause disturbance in the movement of security forces, as they are here to act against the elements who are causing a threat to the integrity of our nation. And now to talk a little bit more on the law and order situation in the state of Manipur and also the aftermath of the video that went viral, I'm going to be joined by our associate editor Anguli, and we are going to be speaking a little bit more as to what law and administration is happening there in Manipur at the moment. First of all, sir, more details have been coming out about that particular incident, the video that went viral, which was horrific to even watch, but it has been mentioned by the accused, or rather the victims themselves, that the police were the one that handed over them to the 800 to 1000 irate mob. First of all, the FIR was filed on the 18th of May. It was a 0 FIR, and then all of a sudden when the video went viral on the 19th of July, there was a first arrest on the 20th, and today 3 more accused have been arrested today too. So that brings up 4. So talking about the police, is this the only way to wake up police officers, officials, or basically the whole department to start taking action after such a heinous crime, and that too literally 2 months?
Yeah, Akivi, in some way the ban on internet in Manipur has also, we were talking about this earlier. When you're talking about banning internet, you are also robbing yourself of the advantages of it in that sense. So I recently came across a tweet on Twitter where the Chief Minister of Manipur was quoted as saying that it was because of the ban on internet in Manipur that incidents such as the one that we are seeing right now were not highlighted in the media also. But then again, he also reportedly said that because now internet has been opened, there are also 100 others more. So if this statement is correct, then I can confidently say that definitely there will be not just hundreds, but maybe in the thousands also. We don't know, but what we know here is that we have also had reports earlier in the past where a certain set of communities in Manipur have demanded that the Assam Rifles be pulled out of certain areas of the state. I think you have also read about that report. And then there is another group that is accusing the Manipur government machinery, especially the police, of being complicit to some of the activities of the mobs there in the valley. So there are a lot of clash of information here, misinformation and disinformation here. What we know is that I think at this point of time, all these unfortunate incidences that could not be reported earlier because of the ban on internet will slowly start coming out as soon as the ban on internet is lifted, Akivi. And in regard to the action of the police in responding to the crime that was committed against those two women, definitely I will say that social media helps in a wonderful way in such incidences. If it was not social media, if it was not the internet, I don't think we will ever have known that something horrific like that would have happened in May, if it was not for the internet, if it was not for social media. So it is sad for the Manipur police because they have been accused of being complicit in certain activities in the past also, and it took a video to wake the Manipur government machinery to act. Itself says that I think they have not really been doing their job as much as we would like them to have been doing in the first place, Akive.
Alright, so you just mentioned that the Chief Minister said now that the internet is open, there are more videos like this. There are hundreds of videos like this. So one video literally shook the nation, sir. And we have been hearing, at least through print and through broadcast media, we've been hearing about another horrific incident of the beheading case too.
Right.
So what could be the damage control for the government when all those 100 videos are released? If one could shake the country so much, how about 100 more videos, sir?
There is no damage control anymore, Akivi. The Manipur government led by Biren Singh, its reputation, I don't think. Maybe we'll have a BJP chief minister later on, we don't know. It could be a Congress chief minister, but at this point of time, as things stand, there is no damage control for the Biren Singh led government in Manipur, Akivi. That is very clear. So as we were mentioning earlier, if one video could really explain what is going on in Manipur, then definitely I think the face of politics in India itself will change if other incidences like this slowly start emerging, and I'm 100% sure that they will emerge. I saw images of the person who was allegedly beheaded by a certain community in Manipur. It was across Twitter and it was horrific. It was something I could not really view it, and I did not watch the video that emerged a few days ago about those two women being paraded and later allegedly gang rape. I refuse to watch that. Anyhow, my point is, at least the Indian government has woken up to the fact that all the damage control that they have been doing in the past 2 months, especially with the arrival of Home Minister Amit Shah, and later on the scatter and hatter statements in the parliament, it's not going to work anymore, because even I think yesterday the Prime Minister of India himself was forced to speak up, although it was a very obvious statement that was expected from a government leader whose party was in power in a state of conflict. It was very expected, but at least he said something which is I think which itself says that the country has also noticed. Now the police in Manipur, the government in Manipur will have to work harder, because like I said, there is no damage control anymore. The only thing here is to bring the violence to ruins, completely bring it to ruins, and then if there has to be a solution, if there has to be a movement forward, then they will have to work on it. And later, we have talked about this too later, the credibility of the government is no more. There is no damage control here anymore, Akivai.
All right, so I mean, we are getting the video that went viral is now attracting attention from worldwide media. The New York Times too, they have posted this. Now, sir, there have been remarks and there have been responses as such that the Prime Minister is busy going to mend foreign relations. What does this video do to India's foreign relations that the Prime Minister is so concerned about, sir?
Definitely. Even the Mighty leadership has already said that this is a shame on the community. The central government has said that it is a shame on India. So I think definitely one reason why governments go on damage control is that its image is more important at the international forum, because the image that you have, the image that a certain country has, is directly proportional and related to its economic interests abroad. Akivi. So it is very easy for government leaders to go outside in foreign countries and talk about democracy, religious harmony and peace, but one thing that they do not really point to is internal affairs, because it is not your diplomacy but the state of your kitchen that describes how far your investment in foreign relations will translate into let's say economic prosperity, developmental growth for the country and its international policies. So it's going to translate very differently. And of course, when Prime Minister Narendra Modi was in the United States, there was no mention of anything about India's internal conditions. It did not talk about hunger. Of course not. You don't talk about things like that. Everything was very political and expected. It was politically correct. Our democracy in India is vibrant. The communities in India enjoy religious freedom and religious harmony. They live in peace. All these politically correct statements were reported in the media, even in the United States. The same it was in France too. So here it is not about how we contradict the condition of our kitchens and how we show it to our neighbors outside. The whole idea is to project yourself in front of the foreign media, because it is the foreign media that will decide how far, in a sense, your public image, it will decide how far that foreign government friend of yours is going to invest in your country later on. So Narendra Modi was just being a politician here. He was just being a politician, showing the best face to our foreign friends outside, but inside, he had nothing to say, unfortunately. But like I said, at least he spoke something yesterday, and because of that, I think we will now try to start cleaning our kitchens after what he had said outside the parliament yesterday, Akeve.
So, like you said, that you are happy that the Prime Minister has finally acknowledged and he's spoken about Manipur. I'm also going to be quoting renowned lawyer Kapil Sibal, who said, "I'm very happy that the Prime Minister has finally spoken about the Manipur issue." But the question that I want to raise is this: Manipur has been burning ever since May 3rd. And it was after 77 days that Manipur got 2 minutes of screen time of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, in which even the Manipur government and the center had sent that 142 people had died in the Manipur conflict till July 4th. But in his 2 minutes of screen time that he gave for Manipur, those 142 deaths were not even spoken by the Prime Minister. So, sir, what does that have to say about his concerns over Manipur issues, sir?
One thing I think that we keep missing here, Akivi, especially when the whole discussion about the Manipur issue and why the Prime Minister himself has for so long kept away from this particular topic, unlike the narrative that the media in the Northeast have been putting forward. For instance, it is a tribal conflict where two different communities who have conflict of interest in regard to their communities are clashing. But in the mainland media industry, Akivi, it is being reported as a Christian and Hindu clash. I wanted to mention this earlier, but somehow I forgot it. And the reason I believe why the Prime Minister had for so long kept quiet from all this is because let us not try to forget that Narendra Modi is from Gujarat, and it will be very easy for the opposition parties to pick up on his history in Gujarat if he suddenly started going too deep in the Manipur issue. Akivi, do you understand what I'm trying to say here?
Yes.
So it will be easy for them to pick up on this issue, and that will make it difficult for the ruling dispensation at the center to be able to answer effectively. So now that you have spoken about what is going on in Manipur, so now it speaks a lot about your history, you know. It is going to give a lot of problems for the ruling dispensation at the center. So that might be one of the reasons why the Prime Minister decided to not give that much statements in regard to the Manipur issue. That is what I believe. And second, we have already talked about this a couple of days ago, whether we like it or not. If the Manipur issue came to the Prime Minister's desk and he was expected to give some kind of a statement, it will automatically mean that the state government in Manipur has already failed, because the center itself had to force a statement at the center itself. It means that the Manipur government had failed, which is a BJP-led government, which translates into a failure of the party at the center itself. So there are a lot of reasons, but I believe that these are the two primary reasons that he decided not to speak about it. But yesterday, by some fluke, I think one of the reporters caught him with that question when, before he went into the parliament, he was asked about Manipur. And in the presence of the media from across the country, when you are given a question like that, there is no option for you to, there is no other option except for you to answer, because not answering itself will make you more culpable to the accusations that you don't care about Manipur. Akivi.
Also in India, the basic structure is like this. There is the judiciary, there is the legislative, and then you've got the administrative sectors. All these three have been properly earmarked and they have their own boundaries. But yesterday, after the video went viral, the Supreme Court, who has been taking cognizance of the Manipur matter, as there is a case in the Supreme Court too, the Supreme Court had to intervene after the video went viral and said, if the central government is not willing to do anything, the court will step in. There are not many instances where the Supreme Court interferes in a day-to-day administration of a state. So how big of a reaction is the Supreme Court saying to the center, telling the center, you either work or else I will. So what does that have to say, sir?
Yeah, definitely. I think it speaks a lot about how the government has been handling the Manipur issue. Of course, in a strange, unpleasant way, it might be that the video somehow captured the attention of the country and drew their gaze to the northeast. So in a way, you know, somehow it stirred up emotions even in the administrative machineries of the state and even in the Supreme Court itself. So the Supreme Court took a suo motu action, that is not waiting for the police or the government to come with a case before it. So instead of waiting for it, the court itself took the initiative to take action in this regard. So I think the answer is very simple here. It means that the state government and even the Manipur government, the government machineries have not really been handling the whole issue that efficiently. So I think it is trying to use these constitutional tools to force the government to do a little bit more than what they have been doing in the past about 3 months.
Alright, so the other thing that is now coming to the fore, initially when this whole conflict began in Manipur, the ITLF, or basically the cookies, they wanted either a separate administration. But now after the video, and now that the video has gone viral, the ITLF, or the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum, have now demanded something like, we now want to be physically separated from the state of Manipur, and they want a statehood. Such videos, do you think such videos only gives more right to the cookies to actually ask for a separate state, sir?
I mean, to be fair, it's not only the cookies that are suffering here, Akive.
Yes.
The Maites have lost people, the cookies have lost people, the cookies have lost properties, the Maites have lost properties. So during times such as this, I think it will be quite unfair and of course unethical to even use a particular instance to make one community the demon and the other the victim. So I think that will be unfair, because the issue here involves both communities and both have lost a lot in this regard. But definitely the video that emerged a couple of days ago somehow buttressed the demand of the Kuki community in Manipur to demand a certain, a separate and an exclusive administration for the community. So somehow it strengthened their demand. But if I am not mistaken, we interviewed a leader of the ITLF earlier.
Yes.
And he had said during the time that I think any kind of arrangement that is a part of Manipur will not work for us. What we want is a completely separate administration. So even before the video emerged, I think it was very clear that they no longer want to be part of the Manipur narrative there as a state institution. They wanted to be different, and he has made it clear that and he says something in this regard. I think viewers can go over to our channel on YouTube and check out the interview that I had with the Indigenous Tribal Leaders Forum leader. He said something in this regard. He said, we have crossed the lines and we will continue fighting, and the fight will continue. And he said that we are no longer able to live with them. We have already crossed the line. So whether it was because of the video or not, we do not know, but we also understand that it might have strengthened the demand of the community, Kuki community in Manipur, to want a separate administration here. But even before this, I want to remind our viewers, they had already made it clear that they no longer want to be in the present present administration of Manipur as we know it. They want to have a separate institution, a separate state of their own.
Alright, so I mean, leaving all the viral incidents apart, leaving all the violence apart, leaving the conflict apart, now I have been speaking to a few people there in Manipur, and now there is a common sign that parents from both communities, be it the Kukis or be it the Metis, they are now disconnecting their television sets because they do not want their children to be exposed to such violence, to be exposed to such horrific incidents. And also, what is the fault of the children of Manipur that are currently suffering due to this conflict?
That is a difficult question, but one thing I'll be very clear here is they're going to suffer trauma for the rest of their lives. I was just writing a story in regard to the Naga lady who was killed during the clashes, and we have carried this report earlier. I read only now that she has a daughter. She studies in class then. Now the mother has been killed. I don't know where she's going to go. She studies in class then. She's never going to be the same ever again. For the thousands of children across Manipur traumatized by the violence that has been happening, the stories of anger and hatred, the stories of violence and the constant environment of fear around them, it is going to affect them a lot. That is as much I can say. I think even most of us, we have certain trauma even from our childhood. Even I know people who have panic attacks because they, as children, they watched violent movies, and these are real stuff. You can't make these things up. And even psychiatrists, they will tell you the same thing. When you are exposed to graphic, stressful environments, you're going to carry that in your childhood. And unfortunately, most of these children grow up into adults who carry that same scars and the same trauma and pass it on to their children. So I don't know the impact or the depth of their pain, but one thing I do know is that they will never be the same again. Akivate.
All right, so thank you so much for joining me on this special news bulletin, and
Thank you
also
for having
sharing
me.
the views and also what it means to be somebody who's there in a conflict zone. Thank you so much. So that was our associate editor, Al Muli, and you just heard that the violence will have its impact to the future generations. And also about the police administration, the Supreme Court intervening in the Manipur issue just shows that the government that is present there should start buckling up. And that was all for this hour's bulletin. For more news and updates, stay tuned to Hornbill TV. Goodbye.